What is up? I am in Kauai, North Shore, Secret Beach, manifesting my dream life. This is my home. I already live here, I feel it. I'm just manifesting my way here, one step at a time. And so, anyways, I like to read, first of all, these are my opinions in this little series here of kind of reviewing quotes. You don't have to take them as truth. You don't have to like them, but just stay open because it's fun to think. And how do you grow if you don't listen to other people's opinions, at least? So, came across a quote I really liked, wanted to kind of break down with you guys. There is but one cause of human failure, man's lack of faith in his true self. Okay, well, let's break that down a little bit while something rustles in the bushes. But there's no snakes in Kauai, so can't be that bad. Anyways, there is but one cause of human failure, man's lack of faith in his true self. So what is human failure? Okay, well, how do you fail at being human? The first thing you have to do is define what is human. Okay, so human is us living as spiritual beings, which is, in my opinion, God plus your consciousness, plus the connected energy that we all share. I believe that is what our spiritual self is, and we are living in this body. So to define human, it can't be defined without defining the human experience. So the human experience is being a spiritual being in this physical body, experiencing earth and this earthly life through our five senses. So, to be human, you define the human experience. The human experience is living this life with our five senses, good and bad. And so, that is, how would you fail at that, all right? So, I think the reason we are here, whether we chose to come here or we were assigned or whatever, but if you believe we are spiritual beings having a human experience, which is experiencing the earth with our five senses, then what's the purpose of it? So I believe the purpose is to find balance and harmony through the suffering, because there's absolutely suffering in a human experience. That's just part of life. It happens to all of us. We all have our baggage. We all have our stuff. We all are trying to do the same thing. How do we procreate? How do we survive? How do we make an income? Just all the stuff that it takes. If you look at what we're doing as humans, we're trying to better ourselves, evolve as much as we can, evolve our consciousness and our bodies in a single lifetime. We're trying to find a mate and procreate, and we're trying to live as long as we can. Okay, so there is but one cause of human failure, man's lack of faith in his true self. Okay, and if human is having a human experience, and to having a human experience, the purpose of that is to find balance and harmony in all things. So I believe suffering comes from thinking, overthinking. I also believe, and I'm not saying things don't come out of the blue that you shouldn't be upset about. That's not what I'm saying. People often misconstrue that. But being upset about something that happened 10 years ago, even if it's not your fault and it's absolutely sick and horrendous, which happens to all of us because life is tough, that's your thinking. I'm sorry to say it. It's hard, and I've gone through some hard stuff too. So I promise you I have the right to say that if you're suffering from something in the past, you are suffering from your own thinking. That event is over. Or if you're suffering from something from the future, anxiety, okay, also from thinking. So anyways, I believe thinking is a biological function. I think it is chemical neurons firing in this meat suit that we embody as a spiritual being. And so to fail at the human experience is to not get control of your thinking so you can experience being. We are spiritual human beings. We are not human thinkers. That is something that we do with our senses, whether you believe there's six senses or not, like I do, the third eye, which consciousness, that's part of thinking. Obviously they tie in together because ideas come from somewhere else, so we're connected. Try not to veer off here too much, but I just like talking about this stuff. I like thinking. So we have to get control of our five senses and our thinking to experience God in our true self. Okay, so remember, my opinion of what a spiritual being is God plus your consciousness, plus the connected energy, the ether, whatever you want to call it, that connects all things and all people together. That, I believe, is your true self or your higher self. So failing to recognize that is failing to recognize that you are a part of God, and that God is in you, and that God is in every other person and every other thing that you're interacting with. Everything, all of this around me is God. It all, regardless of what you believe, this started from somewhere. Even if you believe we don't have a soul, everything that you're experiencing with your five senses started from something. What came before that? What came before the beginning? There's obviously a creative design in all of this. And even if it is random, okay, you're still, anyway, okay, I'm getting off the topic here. Which maybe there isn't a topic. I don't know. These are just my thoughts. I'm just having fun. But anyway, so to fail at that means you're not getting control of your thinking to be in the present moment where there is no worry, there is no fear, it's only happiness, there's no past, there's no future, so there's no depression, there's no anxiety. You're just being. And when you get there, and they're brief moments, nobody, I mean, maybe some monks are sitting around living 30% of their life in the now, which I'd be really impressed with, but the rest of us are trying to find a balance between life hitting us in the face and having to show up for things that maybe we don't always want to do and being present. But if in those brief moments when you work for them and you find God, it's worth it. And it happens just seconds at a time, 7, 8 seconds of the most blissful feeling. It's like Molly times 100. Probably should have said that, but whatever. So, yeah, to fail at recognizing, to have a human failure, which is a lack of faith in your true self, which is your higher self, which is a part of God, means that you have not gained control of your senses to control your thinking, to experience the now, which is where God is. We are not designed to do anything but experience the now. That is how He made us, and that is what we are designed to do. And in that moment, we can experience bliss that we can share with all people and all things. And so, if you fail at being a human, you have failed to utilize your senses in a way that enables you to be of maximum service and bring maximum happiness to other people. And the next question is, how do you do it? Okay, that's a whole other video. How do you get present? A lot of people talk about being present, present moment, power and now, and there's a million different ways to do it. You want to know what the only non-negotiable thing that you can't say isn't a part of being present is to control your thinking. And the first thing you have to do, and not even control your thinking, eliminate it. The whole point is to shift from thinking, even if it's positive thinking or negative thinking, to not thinking, just being. But anyways, okay, there's a cool lizard. That's awesome. So how do you do that? The first thing, very first thing, is you have to identify that you think. And when you do that, you realize there's something observing the thinking. So just to even realize, oh, I was thinking about a memory that really upset me and it set off adrenaline, which is crazy to think about. Your mind can think about something that changes your biology. You can literally think about a previous traumatic event and release adrenaline. That's nuts. But when that happens and you're like, I don't want to think about that, who is the I saying that? Who is saying that? That's not your thinking saying, I don't want to think. That's you. Who are you? You're your true self. Okay, that is the step one. And I'm going to leave it there because that's the foundation. So how do you do that? Sit down and tell yourself, I'm going to focus, set a timer for 5 minutes and say, I'm going to focus on my breathing for 5 minutes. Some form of your breathing, okay? And just try this. Try 2 minutes. I don't care. It's not an intellectual concept of breathing. My lungs are taking in oxygen, they're tingling, it's feeding it to my body. That's all intellectual. I'm talking about the physical experience of breathing. Focus on that. That could be cold in the nostrils, belly moving, cold air in the throat, shirt rubbing the belly. I want you to take every bit of focus you can and focus on that as long as you can. You'll make it maybe 3 breaths. And if you're good at meditation, you can get I don't even want to limit it, but if you have no experience with this, okay, so when that happens, you realize you started focusing on your breath and now you're thinking about tomorrow's dinner and then you're thinking about something you're stressed with at work. Sit back and say, wait a minute, myself, I made the intention to focus on my breath. So what took me from that? That's where my true self was trying to do. Like, what took me from that? That's the thinking. So that is how you prove right there that you think, is sit down and point your intention, all your focus on one specific thing, your breathing, and then watch your brain, your thinking, take you elsewhere. And now you're thinking instead of focusing. So start with that. And it builds from there. You'll get so much freedom from that because you'll realize that you don't, wait a minute, I think and I exist. Like what? It'll just blow the top of your head off. And then you realize, well, then there must be a way to control it. That gets back to the original quote. So that's my long explanation of a quote that I like today. I hope you guys enjoyed and you have an amazing day, because I am. And I want to spread that love. I love you all.